What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today, we're going to continue our builds for y'all within episode Heresy here with a Prismatic Titan build, since the Khepris Horn got buffed in both its natural exotic form as well as on our class item, the Stoicism. We're going to cover that Prismatic Stoicism side for y'all so you can spam some abilities. So first off, we got ourselves Spirit of Inmost Light, which is perfect because when we use an ability, the other two gain their energy back a little bit faster. So when we use our melee grenade, we're going to get back our shield faster, etc. And when we use our shield, we're going to get the other two back. So very good for the combination that we got on with this, which is that Spirit of Horn. So when we use our class ability, we're going to unleash waves of solar energy that damage and scorch nearby targets. Combatants damaged and guardians defeated by this also get enveloped by a sunspot. Sunspots, when we stand in them, also give us back some ability regen faster. So this is a very good ability spam build. You can take this into any type of content. Was going through one of our GMs that we got this week, or with the list being out, you can take this really through anything. So adding to this build, we got ourselves a Prismatic Titan right here. Went with that Twilight arsenal for us. One, because you will see the weapons that we are using, being able to use Harmonic Siphon to get a little bit more of those orbs of power, plus this will weaken enemies and does a pretty good amount of DPS. I'm going to be using Tower Barricade, Strafe Lift with Frenzied Blade and Knockout, as well as our Consecrations, so we can still get 3 of those beautiful Consecrations to go off, as well as Thermite Grenade. This spreads the most Scorch in my personal opinion, especially that all we have, at least grenade-wise, that spreads Scorch on our Prismatic Titan. Then obviously our Consecration, when we get defeats, we're going to get some health back, make us amplified, etc. And the Consecration, even more Ignition Scorch being added with the Khepris Horn that we got on our class item. As for our Fragments, we're going to have a Facet of Courage, Arc, Solar, Void abilities do increase damage to targets affected by darkness debuffs. For us, we're going to be using the Call, which is a rocket-powered sidearm. That's going to give us a strand debuff on enemies. Facet of Dawn, when we have powered melee hits, it's going to make us radiant against targets as well, so this is super nice for a little bit extra DPS on some of our weapons, as well as adding to the ability to stun barrier champions. Facet of Hope, well, we have an elemental buff. Our class ability is going to come back faster, so we're going to have amplification as well as radiant up a decent amount, allowing us to get that Khepris to be procced even more often. Facet of Protection, while surrounded by combatants, we are more resistant to incoming damage, so plays into our Frenzied Blade Consecration build. And then obviously we're going to be using Khepris Horn on top of that just for a little extra protection, or I should say Consecration with Khepris and Heart of Inmost Light because of our Stoicism. And then last but not least, we got ourselves Facet of Ruin. So all of those explosions that we're getting with solar ignitions are going to have increased AoE. So all the Scorch that we're going to be spending from our barricade being thrown down, as well as having Consecration, and our Thermite Grenade is going to cause a bunch of Scorch, a bunch of ignitions, so very good synergy. Alright, when we move on right here to our weapons, we're going to be going with the Call. Like I said, this is going to have that Slice, so when we do throw down our class ability, we are going to get Sever, which will help us in our Solar as well as our Arc and Void abilities. So our Super and our Consecration basically are going to be able to do extra damage on those severed targets. For me, I'm going with Monarch for our Overload champions. This Call is going to be able to stun our barriers as well. And then a Mistral Lift with Envious Arsenal Bait and Switch on this bad boy for that extra DPS. And Unstoppable champions will be able to be stunned with that. So we got some pretty good synergy. This is absolutely disgusting this season, or this episode, because of our artifact, which I will go over after I cover the mods, but all of these pair into the synergy of this build, as well as being able to stun any champions that we face. On to mods, as well as the stats that I have built out. Went with that triple 100 Discipline, Strength, and Resilience. One, because it feeds into the ability spam that we're getting with Spirit of Inmost Light, as well as that Khepris Horn. So really nice right there. Plus Resilience endgame, I definitely want it at least 80 or above for sure, for stuff like GMs, master raids, stuff like that, because everything hits like an absolute tank. Now, when we move on to our mods, we're going to go with that Harmonic Siphon like I talked about earlier, with Strand Siphon, as well as Heavy Ammo Finder, Bolstering Detonation, Momentum Transfer Focusing Strike. This is that little internal feedback to get our class ability back with our grenade, to get our class ability back with our melee, and then to get our melee back with doing damage with our grenade. So again, it is a good way to pair with Inmost Light, as well as our triple 100 stats for that ability spam. Totally up to you on your chest piece, depending on the content you are going into. You can switch these on and off for whatever you are getting murked by the most in that endgame content. On our legs, Absolution, Orbs of Restoration, as well as Recuperation. We're going to get back health when we pick up orbs, as well as our abilities. Again, trying to spam those as much as we can with that buff coming to the Khepris Horn, or the Spirit of the Horn, if you will, on this build. And last, we got ourselves a Reaper, Powerful Attraction with Special Finisher, so we are going to be able to get a nice bit of special ammo when we do finishers on those enemies when we have armor charge. Powerful Attraction when we throw down that shield, which is going to be consistent. We're going to get all those orbs to automatically collect to us, with Reaper being able to create even more orbs of power on top of Harmonic and Strand Siphon. Last but certainly not least, right here, we got ourselves our Tablet of Ruin. We got ourselves Unstoppable Fusion, or those linear fusion rifles, Piercing Sidearms. Then for us, we're going to go with Volatile Marksman, so our void weapons are going to be able to give us volatile rounds, as well as picking up orbs of power. With that, the call is going to have unraveling rounds on top of it, so playing back into one of our fragments on our build when we apply a darkness debuff, so unraveling or sever. With that, all of our arc, solar, void abilities are going to do a little bit more damage. King's Vestige, if we defeat Powerful Taken, we're going to get a little 3-shot Taken Seeker that kind of spawns on us. This is really the only thing in this column that felt right for this, besides Elemental Siphon. When we get damage with, or final blows I should say, with kinetic weapons, or that matches our super, going to create elemental pickups that match our super, so very nice for us. We're going to get a bunch of Void Breaches with this build. Malignant Harvest, as well as Horde Shuffle. This is when we damage those unraveling targets from this unraveling orbs. We're going to get Threadlings to spawn. Malignant Harvest, when we apply Volatility, we're going to create a weakening burst on that void damage that we have, so plays back into Volatile Marksman. And then I did throw on Flash over, just because most of the time we're going to get a certain Titan or Warlock, not really Hunters as much, that are going to give us that bolt charge, but wanted to throw this on there because most of the time you're going to have somebody that is giving you these bolt charges. We aren't really making it ourselves on this build, so you could technically throw on Dreaded Finisher if you want to give yourself some more special ammo, but I liked having the Flash over. And then last, I did go with Particle Reconstruction, so we can get that damage increase on targets when we do damage with our Linear Fusion, as well as Limit Break right here. Casting a super while we're critically wounded or have an elemental buff matching our super grants us a nice period of increased super damage, so just a good way for us to get some more damage out of those triple axes being thrown through the air. We're going to have weakening, volatility going on this build, so a lot working just internally by getting defeats with your weapons and picking up orbs of power. You're going to get a bunch of different debuffs: Sever, Unravel, Volatility, Weakening, all just from hanging out and getting those defeats. It's really fun and really easy to use, in my personal opinion. You can blow through a good amount of content with this. Like I said, gameplay is from the GMs. We got the full list unlocked this week, so it makes it really nice to go through everything and anything that Destiny 2 can throw at us. So really appreciate you guys for checking out these builds, testing them out. Let me know what y'all think of this one. I know it's not like super meta, if you will, like all the ARC builds are, but it gets you through content pretty much no matter what, as long as you are playing safe and easy. So appreciate you guys. Don't be afraid to like, subscribe, hit that bell if you haven't. Join up on the Discord. We're trying to build that boy out, build that community, have those anime nights, have those movie nights, you know what I'm saying. Chill, help you guys through these types of GMs content, whatever it may be, raids, dungeons, you know what I mean. I always start to babble at the end because of my ADHD. So love you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and as well, peace.